are gathering local reaction to this historic Supreme Court decision this morning, overturning Roe v. Wade, eliminating basically the constitutional right to an abortion. Let's listen to this.
I think it's a bad decision. I feel like women should have the choice to do what they want with their bodies.
Okay, so that was, one person that we talked to out there this morning here, and also some video from in front of the Supreme Court you saw earlier here. We actually had protesters from both sides of the issue protesting in front of the Supreme Court, the pro-life protesters, pro-choice protesters as well, as this decision came down to the fact that it sounds like the Supreme Court is allowing states to make this choice on whether or not to restrict abortion.
And the New York Times has a quote from former Vice President Mike Pence, who praised the decision and called on abortion opponents to try and ban abortion access in all states. Quote, having been given this second chance for life, we must not rest and must not relent until the sanctity of life is restored to the center of American law in every state in the land.
Just into the newsroom here seconds ago, we know the governors of both California, Idaho, and even Washington releasing this. It's a multi-state commitment, it says, to reproductive freedom. Governor Jay Inslee saying, quote, the law remains unchanged in Washington state, but the threat to patient access and privacy has never been more dangerous. Went on to say that even in Washington state, Republicans have introduced about 40 bills in the past 6 years to roll back abortion rights and access to reproductive care. He says the right of choice should not depend on which party holds the majority. Says that's where we find ourselves. More than half the nation's population now lacks safe access to a medical procedure that only a patient and their doctor can and should make for themselves. He says instead, law enforcement, vigilantes, and judicial systems can force patients to bear the burdens of forced pregnancy and birth. Washington state remaining steadfast in our commitment to protecting and the ability and right of every patient who comes into our state in need of abortion care. And he says we will fight like hell to restore that right to patients all across the country.
And we just got a statement from Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal. She says, in part, I am outraged for what this will mean for those who need abortion care, particularly those who will be most harmed by this decision. Black and brown women, those who live in rural areas or who have lower incomes and can't afford to cross state lines for care, young people and LGBTQ people, and women in abusive relationships. She continues, quote, the Supreme Court has now mandated forced pregnancy, taking away an intensely personal freedom for pregnant people to make decisions about our own bodies with a doctor or loved one, and instead bringing politicians into your decision and your bedroom. Every woman, every family, every pregnant person should fear what this means for their futures.
Senator Marie Cantwell, hearing from her this morning from our state, weighing in, saying we know that 70% of Americans did not want to see Roe v. Wade overturned. They want these rights upheld. Mainstream Americans have counted on this right, depended on this right, exercised this right, and now several justices on the Supreme Court are going back on their word and upending settled law to take this right away.
Yeah, we have crews spread out across the area collecting reaction to this historic ruling that will bring you that all day long.